esteemed panelists on the dais and all my friends in the audience. Indeed, it's been a long journey as far as e-governance is concerned, and we have a long distance to cover. Some of the essence of that journey is captured sometimes better by personal tales, and I will tell you just one of them. When I was a student in Delhi University in the late 70s, every time the holidays would come, we needed to buy a railway ticket, a railway reservation to get home. And to buy the railway ticket, in the morning we used to get our breakfast packed. At breakfast time we used to get our lunch packed, because we knew that it is going to be a long haul. Go to New Delhi railway station, stand in the queue for hours and hours together sometimes, especially when the rush season came. The other day, I was planning a holiday for my son and my wife to go to Europe sometime in the month of May. I just went on to a site which books your tickets, and within about 15 minutes, and that 15 minutes also because I was responding a little late because I was still thinking about the dates and whether I should change them or not. But within about 15 minutes, I had my ticket booked to go to Europe in the month of May. Not just myself, but my wife and my son. So this is the journey we have covered, from a whole long day's endeavor to buy a railway ticket, a railway reservation. Of course, today you can buy a railway reservation for going from anywhere to anywhere in this country. Unfortunately, and this is to highlight a very important aspect of e-governance. Unfortunately, you can buy a ticket, but most of the time you will be waitlisted. You will be waitlisted because I don't want to go into the reasons, but the lesson that we need to learn from this, one of the most monumental e-governance endeavors of the government of India. I do not think there is any other bigger endeavor and which has had such a long checkered history. All that I want to say is, and this is something which I keep repeating in every conference, every platform relating to IT and e-governance, that what is the problem, let's say, in the railway system? In the railway system, the problem is that they have not really accounted for the irregularities which can creep in because of faulty program logistics. And that is the reason why even today, you may have heard, you may have read in the newspapers also, there are any number of occasions when these news reports keep coming up about touts in the railways and how they were rounded up, how they were caught, and so on and so forth. So what I am saying is that the essence of the lesson that we need to learn is that your front-end delivery can only be as good as the back end. In fact, Sanatan ji ने जो अभी कहा पूरी बात पासपोर्ट डिलीवरी के बारे में, वहाँ भी ये लागू होता है, क्योंकि आपके बैक एंड पे वो सिस्टम ऑटोमेटेड है ही नहीं. वो पुलिस वेरिफिकेशन में तो ह्यूमन इंटरवेंशन हो रहा है. My dream would be to see, and especially when every citizen has a unique ID, my dream would be to see that every Thana's database is connected across the country, so that today, if I log in, the Thana database should be able to say whether I have any FIRs against me, whether I have any police record of an adverse nature. And then from there, you don't need any human intervention. You don't need a thanedar to give you verification. again, talking about this long journey, you know, I mean, imagine about 50, I mean, the second time I had to renew my passport was in the year 2000. And mind you, I am a member of the Covenanted Civil Service, which I have joined only after police verification. That was, of course, 30 years back. But in the year 2000, when I had to get my passport renewed, you know, I had gone for a morning swim. I was staying in Delhi. I had gone for a morning swim. And when I came back, my wife came and said, my wife said that, you know, in the morning, one of these inspectors had come for verification of your identity. So I told him, he's not here, but I am his wife. Tell me what you want to know. So he said, nahi, wo to jab rahenge tabhi. You know, he wanted to see my face. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I am a member of the Covenanted Civil Service of this country. I am residing in a government accommodation. And my identity is public identity. But, I mean, such is the, you know, I mean, I don't blame the system. I blame the people who who implanted this, you know, faulty colonial system on this thing. We'll not go into that. That's a favorite topic of mine, how we have inherited a faulty legacy and we are carrying on with that. But, you know, I mean, मजाक में लोग कहते हैं हमारे यहाँ, गाँव में कहते हैं दरोगा, मतलब the give, रो के द, नहीं तो गा के द. You know? So, सनातन जी, ये आपके सिस्टम को मैं बहुत अप्रिशिएट कर रहा हूं, लेकिन जो मैंने बात कही, ये बहुत मूल बात है. Your front end can only be as good as the back end. And we're struggling with this problem. Even in my own department, you know, Shailesh was talking about SSDG, right? My dream is to be able to see that one portal where the citizens of this state can go and from there navigate into whatever services they want. But that is not very easy to come by, not in the near future, because we have to do a huge amount of back-end work. A huge amount of back-end work. Each of the departments has to get its acts together, do process re-engineering, business process re-engineering, organize its data in an intelligent fashion so that it can be picked up by an intelligent software for varied purposes, varied uses. So that is the other thing that I wanted to drive home at. And finally, before I leave, I would like to drive home this very important point that, look, in the realm of technology, we move forward only as well and as good as we know. And even in this age of internet, online connectivity and interactivity, there is no better way to add value to your knowledge, to augment your knowledge, and to keep yourself abreast of the latest developments. There is no other way, there is no better way than, you know, getting together on a common platform and sharing your experience. So Ravi, I really thank you for having organized this, and I think we should have more of these regular interactions, more focused interactions. Of course, some of these things of a plenary nature are also important. But remember, this is an advice I am giving you, which you can, which you can carry forward in your future initiatives. Always distinguish between a plenary and a focused session. And when you are having a plenary session, do not do it just for doing a conference. For a plenary session, you must try and extend and expand your clientele, your audience, so that, you know, there is value derived from your effort. You know, plenary sessions are typically meant for people who are on the threshold of that particular platform, where if they were not to go in, they would not be able to know what's happening. They will not be able to get a wind of what's happening. And if they were to stay out, then of course, there's no question of knowing. So the plenaries have to be very carefully planned, because in a focused session, if I need to interact with just a few people I know who to interact with, there is no problem. It has to be, amongst people who you're supposed to be sharing your knowledge with. But in plenary sessions, you have to have a larger clientele, a larger audience, which I think will be a building block for disseminating not just your knowledge, but disseminating also the endeavor, the effort that is going into, creating what Mr. S.P. Sinha was saying yesterday, creating that culture of learning, entrepreneurship, development, all of these things combined. So that's just one minor piece of advice that I would like to give you. And I am greatly beholden to all of you who have participated in the conference since yesterday. And I would like to extend my invitation to all of you for any suggestion that you might come up with in terms of some of the priorities that we need to carry forward in the department, and a fraction of it I have highlighted yesterday, and I would like to repeat it again. While in the department, in the information technology department, we are facilitators, our prime effort is to be able to provide the infrastructure for e-governance. We are also charged with the responsibility of e-literacy in the state, which is a very, very onerous task. And towards that end, whoever would like to contribute, I think this whole idea of crowdsourcing has become very popular. I would also request my SEMT team to start this whole business of crowdsourcing ideas from people about how to improve some of our systems, how to implement some of our systems that we are trying to implement. For example, some of our projects are stuck because of inadequate top to bottom information flow, or in faulty reporting system, and we need to plug those loopholes. I'm sure if we are able to build a large mass of illiterate people in the state, that culture will ensure that the automaton moves on its own in the course of time. As it has moved on in some of the developed economies. Thank you.